So I'm still in the spot, ready to talk about high schoolers. We've been spending the last couple of weeks talking with high schoolers about sex, things about how far I should go, things about what's the purpose of marriage anyways. And when it comes to the how far I should go question, I think a lot of us, adults, kids, whatever, we have that question, what's okay to do? What's the bare minimum I can sneak by with and still be holy? And a video that we had watched before the event really brought that to light. It's not about what's the bare minimum, what's the lowest, what's the least, but we should be thinking in terms of what's the best I could do. Like, why am I dating someone? Why am I getting married to this person? What's the purpose of this? It's not about the least, but the greatest. And I think that really a lot of our students had talked about that in terms of dating. They're not looking just for what I can get or what's the least, but they had really high standards for their relationships. They said, okay, I'm looking for someone that mirrors the same standards that I have, that have the same values that I do. We had a lot of good conversation around that, and even so much, some of our younger kids had the highest standards, and some of our older high schoolers were able to look at them and say, yeah, I appreciate your standards, but when you get into high school, the pressures from everybody else really start to chip away at those standards that you have. So make sure that you are absolutely certain about these standards and that you're hanging around people and in relationships with people that hold those same standards. Because if you're not, slowly but surely, those standards get chipped away and whittled away. Moving on to marriage, I thought we had a great talk about why we get married. What's the purpose of marriage? Obviously, when someone gets married, they become one flesh. So we have that union of two people who become one. And the goal of the husband is to get the wife to heaven, and the goal of the wife is to get the husband to heaven. So it's like it's a joint pursuit in holiness. We're here to help the other person, but obviously, as we're in marriage, we have the marital embrace, aka sexual intercourse, and obviously, when we have sexual intercourse, like the ordered result of sexual intercourse would be babies. So there's two reasons for sex in marriage, and that would be for babies and for the bringing together of the couple. And if either one of those is taken away, it would be a disordered act in this marital bond. So if we're doing things with our spouse that are not ordered to reproduction, that are not at least open to the possibility of reproduction, then it's disordered. But also, if it's not bringing the couple closer together, it would also be a disordered thing. And I'm not sure that saying that, if we can really conceptualize what that means. So I brought in an example of food. And with food, it's obviously good for us. It's a good thing in our lives. If we don't have food, we get mad, actually. Welcome to Lent. But when it comes to food, there's two reasons, there's two purposes for food, and that being, number one, it's good for our bodies. It gives us nutrition. It helps us to get stronger. It helps us to stay alive. But also, it tastes good. So there's an incentive to eat food and to help us stay healthy because it tastes good. But if you take either one of those away, we see disorder. And the examples I gave, one example was of a girl who is bulimic, and another one would be like a bodybuilder or something like that. So for the bulimic girl, I said, okay, she's eating food, let's say, so she's consuming food, and it tastes good, but then she purges that food, and so she gets rid of it, so she's not consuming the nutrients. Well, we would look at that and say that's a disorder because one of the two goods or the purposes of food is missing. It's just for the taste, and then I get rid of all the food. Another example would be for the bodybuilder, and the bodybuilder is someone who maybe he's already full, he has been satiated, he has all the nutrients that he needs. Well, not that he needs, actually, it's the opposite. It no longer tastes good to continue to eat this food, but he knows if he's going to get these gains that he needs to keep eating food, to keep drinking protein shakes, to continue to consume these nutrients. Even though his body says it's full, he's going to keep eating to achieve that goal. So he's kind of disordered that relationship and kind of taken out the taste good part of food and just gone overboard with the nutrients. So hopefully giving those examples really brought to life the reasons that our church teaches that reproduction and unity of the couple are vital to any kind of sexual act that happens within marriage. It's a big topic. We gave our kids some videos to watch on YouTube because they're spending time on YouTube anyways. They might as well be watching good videos. So we gave them some resources to look at. I know Jackie Angel is a lady that through Ascension Presents has a great video that was just sent out in December about how far should I go? And we saw Jason Everett. He came to the Archdiocese, and many of our kids saw him, and he's got a great presentation that talks about that, and both of those can be found on YouTube. So feel free to have these conversations with your kids. Talk to them about these realities, because these are the pressures that are happening in their lives every single day by their friends, by people that by girlfriends, boyfriends. It's everywhere. So be sure to have these open lines of communication, and be that primary catechist for your kid, because you can do the most good in your kid's life. And that's what your job is as a parent, to help get your kids to heaven. So let's do the best job we can.